Stranded alone in the endless void, humanity was forgotten and left to die. When hope seemed lost, a hidden power awakened, rewriting the fate of the abandoned. Unprepared and overwhelmed, the galaxy would witness the true strength of human will. Can humanity survive the void and reclaim its destiny? Don't miss this epic journey. Hit subscribe now for more mind-blowing sci-fi adventures. A massive human colony ship drifted silently through the endless void of space. Far from the familiar stars of its home, the once bustling corridors were now eerily quiet, lit only by the dim glow of emergency lights. The ship had been abandoned by the central government after a critical miscalculation left it stranded. The crew felt the sting of betrayal, knowing that the very people who had promised to protect them had turned away when they were needed most. Fear settled over the ship like a heavy fog, each day stretching longer than the last, and the uncertainty gnawed at the minds of every survivor. Every system on the ship demanded constant attention. Life support, navigation, and power needed careful management. The engineers worked tirelessly, repairing failing machinery with whatever materials they could scavenge. Each repair was a small victory against the creeping despair, but the work never ended. The crew members took turns monitoring critical systems, sleeping only a few hours at a time, their exhaustion matched by their determination to survive. Food and water supplies were limited, and the rationing system had to be precise. A single mistake could endanger the lives of everyone aboard. The medics struggled to keep illnesses and injuries under control, improvising with limited medical tools. Every cough or fever caused alarm, for in space, even the smallest illness could become deadly. The psychological strain was equally dangerous. Isolation and fear often clashed with the need for calm, and tempers flared as frustration mounted. Despite these hardships, a small group of leaders emerged, people who refused to give in to despair. They encouraged the crew to keep working, to keep hoping, to believe that rescue might still come. Even in the darkest hours, their courage spread, a spark in the hearts of those around them. They held meetings in the dimly lit conference halls, planning, strategizing, and reminding everyone that giving up was never an option. The void outside the ship seemed endless, a black canvas dotted with distant stars. And sometimes the emptiness felt like a living thing, pressing against the ship's hull. The crew would gather near the observation windows, staring out at the darkness, imagining the worlds they had left behind, and silently promising themselves they would survive. The vastness of space was both beautiful and terrifying, a constant reminder of how small and fragile humanity could be. Every day brought new challenges, from minor system failures to the constant threat of cosmic debris. The crew learned to move with precision, to check and recheck every calculation, knowing that a single error could be fatal. They became experts at improvisation, finding solutions to problems no one had ever expected. Their ingenuity became their lifeline, a reminder that even abandoned, humanity could endure. Memories of home and family weighed heavily on everyone, sometimes bringing comfort, sometimes pain. Letters and messages that could never be sent played over and over in their minds. The isolation was brutal, yet it also forged bonds among the crew. People who had been strangers became like family, supporting each other through fear, fatigue, and uncertainty. Their shared struggle created trust and loyalty, essential in a place where one mistake could mean death. The abandoned ship had become a world unto itself, with routines and roles carefully maintained. The crew created small rituals to keep their spirits alive, sharing stories, celebrating minor successes, and keeping alive the hope that rescue might arrive. They clung to that hope because without it, the void would swallow them completely. Even as despair threatened to take hold, the crew never stopped scanning the stars for a sign of life. Every faint signal or anomaly sparked excitement. Each possibility of contact with humanity renewed their will to survive. They learned that survival was not just about repairing machines or rationing food, but about holding on to hope, about believing that even in the forsaken frontier, humanity could endure. Their story was one of struggle, ingenuity, and courage. The abandoned colony ship became a testament to human resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of space, people could find strength within themselves and each other. The Forsaken Frontier was more than a place of isolation. It was a crucible that tested humanity's limits and proved that survival was possible even when all seemed lost. Supplies on the colony ship were running dangerously low, and the crew faced constant worry about food, water, and oxygen. Every ration had to be carefully measured, and every decision carried the weight of life and death. Engineers worked day and night to repair failing systems, using whatever scraps and spare parts they could find. They fashioned tools and replacements from broken modules, showing incredible creativity and determination. Each fix, no matter how small, brought relief. But the constant pressure made exhaustion a permanent companion. Water recycling units broke down repeatedly, forcing the crew to find alternative ways to purify every drop. Filters had to be cleaned and rebuilt using unconventional materials, and even minor contamination could become a deadly threat. The engineers collaborated with medics to ensure hygiene and prevent illness. Every failure taught them new ways to adapt, making the crew smarter and more resourceful. Food supplies were rationed with strict rules, and the kitchen crew calculated every calorie. Every meal was precious, and nothing could be wasted. They experimented with hydroponic units and improvised gardens, trying to grow fresh vegetables in the cramped compartments. Even a tiny green sprout became a symbol of hope, reminding everyone that life could continue despite the hardships. The psychological toll of isolation grew heavier with each passing day. Loneliness, fear, and despair clung to the crew, threatening to break their spirit. Some turned inward, lost in memories of home and family, while others struggled with frustration and anger. Arguments flared over minor disagreements. Leaders worked tirelessly to maintain calm, organizing small activities and encouraging communication. They reminded everyone that teamwork was the only way to survive. And slowly, bonds grew stronger, creating a sense of unity. The ship's engines required constant monitoring, and any miscalculation could send the colony drifting further into the void. Navigators and engineers worked together, running complex calculations and double-checking every system. Even minor mistakes could have catastrophic consequences, forcing the crew to maintain focus despite fatigue. They became masters of improvisation, learning to anticipate problems and solve them creatively, turning the ship itself into a carefully managed ecosystem. Medical emergencies added to the tension. Every injury or illness was magnified by the lack of supplies. Medics had to improvise treatments, using spare parts and unconventional methods. They performed surgeries under harsh conditions, and even routine care became a delicate balancing act. Every successful treatment restored not only the patient's health, but also the crew's confidence, proving that human skill and determination could overcome scarcity. Despite the pressure, small moments of hope and joy appeared. Crew members shared stories of Earth and childhood memories. They celebrated minor victories, like a successful repair or a growing hydroponic plant. Humor became a weapon against despair, laughter echoing through the empty corridors. Each moment of lightness reminded everyone that humanity could survive even in the harshest conditions. As days turned into weeks, the crew developed routines that became their lifeline. Sleeping, working, repairing, and monitoring systems followed a strict schedule. Even rest became a shared activity, with pairs or small groups keeping watch while others slept. Trust became essential. Each crew member relied on others completely, knowing that one person's failure could endanger everyone. Communication with the outside world was non-existent, but the crew refused to give up hope. Every faint anomaly on the sensors was analyzed, every possible sign of rescue or contact considered. They became vigilant, learning to detect patterns in the void, training themselves to respond to the smallest clues. Their vigilance turned survival into an art, blending science, skill, and instinct. Through constant struggle, the crew discovered the strength of human adaptability. Every crisis taught them resilience. Every failure forced innovation. And every small success inspired hope. They were not just surviving. They were mastering the art of life in the most hostile environment imaginable. The abandoned colony ship became more than a vessel. It became a testament to human courage, ingenuity, and the will to endure. In the void, they learned that survival was more than food and water. It was about determination, teamwork, and the refusal to surrender to despair. unknown cosmic phenomena began to threaten the colony ship, sending sudden bursts of radiation and debris that battered its fragile hull. Each encounter tested the crew's skills and their ability to adapt quickly. The ship's sensors constantly beeped warnings, and alarms rang through the corridors, forcing the crew to respond with precision. Panic was a constant shadow, but training and experience guided their hands and minds. Asteroids of varying sizes suddenly appeared along their path, some large enough to cause serious damage. Engineers worked tirelessly to reinforce shields and patch leaks. Using makeshift tools and salvaged materials, they improvised solutions that no one had ever imagined. Every maneuver required perfect timing, coordination, and courage. The slightest hesitation could send the ship spinning into disaster. Radiation storms from distant stars surged unexpectedly, threatening both human life and critical systems. Crew members suited up in protective gear and worked in shifts to repair damaged circuits and stabilize power grids. The ship itself became a battleground against forces far greater than anything the crew had faced before. Yet each victory, each repair completed under pressure, strengthened their confidence and unity. The psychological strain intensified. Fear and stress tested their resolve. Every creak of the hull, every sudden vibration, sparked anxiety. But the leaders reminded everyone that panic would be deadly. Meditation and focus exercises were introduced to help manage stress, and small rituals gave the crew a sense of control. Even in chaos, human will proved stronger than fear. Resource management became even more critical. Energy, water, and oxygen supplies were constantly threatened by the cosmic events. Every decision had to balance immediate survival with long-term needs. Engineers calculated precise power usage for shields, engines, and life support, while medics rationed medical supplies for worst-case scenarios. Every choice was a gamble, and every success reinforced the crew's ingenuity. The crew learned to anticipate cosmic threats, scanning the void for the slightest anomalies. Patterns in asteroid movements and radiation bursts became clues to survival. They developed emergency protocols for every possible scenario, practicing drills and simulations until reaction became instinct. The ship became a hive of disciplined activity, each person knowing exactly what to do in a crisis. Collaboration and communication were vital. Engineers, medics, navigators, and leaders had to work seamlessly. Every mistake could cascade into catastrophe, and every success depended on trust. Teamwork became their most powerful tool, transforming fear into coordinated action. The crew discovered the strength of unity in the face of overwhelming odds. The ship's automated systems were pushed to their limits. Life support, shields, and engines groaned under strain. Repairs had to be done mid-flight while dodging cosmic debris. The crew became adept at improvisation, using spare parts, broken panels, and unconventional solutions. Their ability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances became their greatest weapon, allowing them to survive where technology alone could not. Moments of beauty punctuated the danger. Distant stars shimmered through observation windows, casting patterns of light across the corridors. The void was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, reminding the crew of humanity's smallness and the grandeur of the universe. These glimpses offered solace, a reminder that life, even fragile and threatened, was still precious. Through each challenge, the crew grew stronger. Each near miss with destruction sharpened their skills and their determination. They learned to move with precision, to think creatively, and to act decisively. Every cosmic threat became an opportunity to prove that human ingenuity and courage could overcome even the most hostile forces. The ship, battered but intact, became a symbol of resilience, a testament to what humans could achieve when pushed to the edge. Even as danger loomed continuously, the crew refused to succumb to despair. They knew that survival depended on alertness, teamwork, and constant innovation. They transformed the chaos of the void into a training ground, mastering challenges that no textbook could teach. Each day was a test, and each victory, no matter how small, was celebrated. Strengthened by adversity, the crew understood that their greatest weapons were not technology or tools, but their unity, intelligence, and unbreakable human spirit. Sensors aboard the colony ship detected a faint, unusual signal. A small group of crew members first dismissed it as a glitch or interference, but repeated scans confirmed it was real. The possibility of contact with another human presence brought a mix of excitement and caution. For weeks, the crew monitored the signal, analyzing its patterns, strength, and origin. Each new piece of data offered hope, but also raised questions about who or what was sending it. Navigators worked tirelessly to plot a course toward the signal, knowing it could lead to salvation or deeper danger. Every calculation had to be precise, accounting for the ship's limited fuel and the hazards of deep space. Engineers reinforced the engines and shields, preparing the vessel for an uncertain journey. The crew understood that following the signal was a risk, but the alternative, remaining lost in the void, was unacceptable. Hope spread among the crew, lifting spirits that had been weighed down by weeks of isolation. People who had grown silent began to speak with renewed energy, sharing theories about the signal and speculating about its source. Some imagined it came from a distant human settlement, while others feared it might be a trap. The uncertainty added tension, but also a renewed sense of purpose, giving everyone a goal to focus on. Preparations for the journey demanded teamwork. Engineers, medics, navigators, and leaders coordinated their efforts. Repairs were made to critical systems. Supplies were checked and rationed, and emergency protocols were reviewed. Each crew member knew their role, understanding that failure could mean death. The pressure inspired innovation, forcing the team to find solutions to problems they had never encountered. Every success reinforced their confidence, proving that they could act decisively under extreme conditions. The ship slowly adjusted its course toward the source of the signal, moving through the void with cautious precision. Each day brought new observations and challenges, from navigating around cosmic debris to maintaining life support systems. The crew became experts in interpreting subtle data, noticing patterns that others might have missed. Their growing skill transformed fear into mastery, and the unknown became something they could approach strategically. As they drew closer, the signal grew stronger and more complex, containing coded patterns that hinted at intelligence and intention. The crew realized it was human in origin, a message from a civilization far advanced and long forgotten. Excitement mixed with disbelief as they considered the implications. They were not alone, and humanity's legacy had left traces even in the deepest reaches of space. The signal guided them to an unexpected destination. A cluster of ancient automated warships lay dormant, hidden in the darkness. For centuries, these machines had waited, their technology surpassing anything the crew had encountered. The ships activated as the colony vessel approached, scanning the newcomers and assessing their capabilities. The crew watched in awe, realizing they had stumbled upon a hidden treasure of knowledge and power. Understanding and controlling the ancient machines became the next challenge. Engineers studied the systems with relentless focus, trying to unlock their potential without triggering danger. Medics and leaders ensured that the crew remained safe while handling unknown technology. Every small success opened new possibilities, revealing tools and tactics that could protect them from the void and any threats beyond. The machines became allies, their activation signaling that humanity's past achievements could safeguard its future. The journey toward the signal changed the crew profoundly. They learned patience, observation, and strategic thinking on an entirely new level. Their initial despair was replaced with purpose and excitement. Every action was measured and deliberate, preparing them for challenges that lay ahead. The once abandoned ship became a vessel of hope and discovery, guided by a beacon of human ingenuity. Through this encounter, the crew understood that survival was not only about enduring hardships, but also about seeking connections, learning from the past, and using knowledge to reshape destiny. The faint signal that had seemed so fragile now symbolized a new beginning, a path out of isolation and into the vast possibilities of space. The crew moved forward with determination, ready to embrace the unknown and rewrite their fate. The signal led the colony ship to a hidden cluster of ancient automated warships, long forgotten by most of humanity. They floated silently in the void, massive and imposing, their hulls glinting faintly in the distant starlight. The crew felt a mix of awe and fear, knowing that these machines held technology far beyond anything they had ever seen. Their presence was both a promise of help and a warning of the unknown power they contained. As the colony ship approached, the warships began to activate, systems coming online with low hums and blinking lights. Sensors scanned the newcomers, evaluating the humans with precision. The crew watched closely, unsure if the machines would see them as allies or threats. The tension was palpable, every movement and command was calculated, and every mistake could provoke disaster. Engineers immediately set to work studying the warship's systems, trying to understand their functions and limitations. They discovered advanced navigation, energy, and defense technologies, capabilities that could protect the colony ship from cosmic hazards and any potential attackers. Every discovery felt like a lifeline, offering the promise of survival and power. The crew felt hope grow, tempered by the careful understanding that these machines were not toys. They were formidable and unpredictable. The warships contained automated defenses and weapon systems, dormant for centuries, waiting for activation. The crew carefully tested controls and systems, learning to communicate with the machines using coded commands. Each success brought relief and confidence, proving that they could harness the ship's power. They realized that humanity's past had left behind tools capable of safeguarding future generations, and they had become the inheritors of this legacy. Life aboard the colony ship began to change. The ancient warships provided shields and resources, stabilizing the struggling vessel. Crew members could repair systems more efficiently, using knowledge gained from the automated machines. Even minor tasks became easier with the assistance of advanced technology. The sense of helplessness that had weighed on them for months began to lift, replaced by excitement and determination. The warships also offered lessons in strategy and adaptability. Their systems were designed to respond to threats intelligently, and the crew learned to apply similar thinking to their own decisions. Engineers and navigators studied simulations and tactical patterns, preparing for scenarios that could range from cosmic hazards to hostile forces. Every interaction with the machines sharpened the crew's skills and strengthened their teamwork. Communication among the crew became more confident and purposeful. They relied on each other to operate the new systems and shared insights about the warship's functions. A sense of unity and achievement spread through the ship, reinforcing the idea that human ingenuity combined with advanced technology could overcome almost any challenge. Morale soared as the crew realized that they were no longer abandoned. They had allies, power, and knowledge to rewrite their fate. Despite the excitement, caution remained essential. The warship's systems were complex, and mistakes could trigger catastrophic consequences. Engineers double-checked every procedure, and leaders emphasized careful observation. Every decision balanced risk and reward, teaching the crew patience and prudence in addition to skill. They learned that true power came not only from technology, but from wisdom and restraint in using it. The ancient machines were more than tools. They became symbols of humanity's enduring presence in the galaxy, reminding the crew that even when forgotten or abandoned, human achievements could have lasting impact. Every control panel, every system brought them closer to survival and mastery over the void. The colony ship, once fragile and isolated, now moved with renewed strength and purpose, guided by both human will and ancient technology. By the time the crew fully integrated the warship's capabilities, they had transformed. Their understanding of strategy, engineering, and teamwork reached new heights. The fear and helplessness of the abandoned months faded into the past, replaced by confidence and readiness. Humanity's hidden legacy had awakened, providing the tools, knowledge, and courage to face dangers ahead. The crew realized that their survival was now a blend of human spirit and ancient power, preparing them to take control of their destiny in a universe that had once seemed indifferent. With the ancient warships now fully operational, the colony ship's crew felt a surge of confidence. Their vessel, once fragile and vulnerable, now possessed shields, advanced navigation, and automated defense systems. Each crew member had learned how to operate these systems, transforming fear into action. The void, which had seemed hostile and overwhelming, now became a space where human ingenuity could thrive. The crew immediately applied the warship's technology to stabilize the colony ship. Repairs that once took hours were completed in minutes. Energy resources were optimized to power shields and life support simultaneously. The ship could now maneuver through dangerous asteroid fields and cosmic radiation with precision. The sense of control over their environment gave the crew renewed determination and a feeling of empowerment. Cosmic hazards continued to challenge them. but the crew now had tools and knowledge to respond. Radiation storms were deflected by automated shielding systems, and asteroid collisions were avoided using advanced sensors and maneuvering protocols. Every success reinforced the belief that humans, combined with technology, could survive even the harshest conditions. The crew's ingenuity and the ancient machine's power worked in perfect harmony, each enhancing the other. The integration of the warship's systems also allowed the crew to develop new strategies for survival. They ran simulations of potential threats, from rogue asteroids to black holes, and practiced rapid responses. Engineers and navigators worked together to create contingency plans for every scenario. The lessons learned were not only technical, but also psychological, teaching the crew resilience, focus, and patience. Daily life aboard the colony ship improved. As efficiency increased and stress levels decreased, crew members could rest more, knowing that automated systems would protect the vessel. Food and water management became easier with improved monitoring and recycling systems. Even minor tasks were more manageable, allowing the crew to focus on long-term planning and exploration. The combination of human determination and advanced technology created a new rhythm to life, full of purpose and confidence. Teamwork reached new heights. Each crew member had a role that directly contributed to the ship's safety and progress. Collaboration became second nature, and trust was absolute. Leaders coordinated efforts across all departments, ensuring smooth communication and rapid response to any problem. The shared responsibility and success strengthened bonds among the crew, creating a sense of family in the vast emptiness of space. The crew also began to explore the full potential of the ancient warships, discovering weapon systems and defense mechanisms that could protect them from both natural and human-made threats. Every experiment was carefully planned, as mistakes could be dangerous. Gradually, they learned to control these systems with confidence, turning the once intimidating machines into reliable allies. Each success boosted morale and proved that human determination could harness even the most complex technology. As they grew stronger, the crew began to anticipate challenges before they occurred. They monitored cosmic phenomena, predicted dangerous events, and prepared responses in advance. Their ability to think strategically and act decisively transformed the colony ship from a passive vessel into an active force capable of defending itself. The sense of vulnerability that had dominated their journey began to fade, replaced by empowerment and readiness. The psychological transformation was as significant as the technological one. The crew felt hope and pride for the first time in months. Their confidence inspired creativity, and problems that had seemed insurmountable became solvable. They began to plan for the future, imagining missions beyond mere survival and preparing for encounters with unknown forces. The ancient warships had not only given them tools, but had also reignited their human spirit. With the combined power of human skill and ancient technology, the colony ship became a formidable presence in the void, capable of navigating hazards, defending against threats, and sustaining life with unprecedented efficiency. The crew realized that survival was no longer a daily struggle, but a calculated endeavor guided by knowledge, teamwork, and courage. Every challenge faced and overcome strengthened their belief that humanity could endure anything. The colony ship, once abandoned and vulnerable, had been transformed into a symbol of resilience, a vessel where human ingenuity, determination, and ancient legacy converged to create strength and purpose. The crew, empowered and united, now faced the universe not with fear, but with strategy, skill, and the certainty that they could overcome whatever dangers lay ahead. As the colony ship traveled through the void, the crew's vigilance was tested like never before. A hostile alien force appeared suddenly, emerging from the darkness with ships faster and more advanced than anything the crew had encountered. Panic threatened to take hold, but the training, strategy, and knowledge gained from the ancient warships guided every action. The crew knew they had to respond immediately or face total destruction. The alien vessels moved with precision, surrounding the colony ship and attempting to disable its systems. Engineers and navigators worked in perfect coordination, activating shields and rerouting energy to critical systems. Automated defenses from the warships engaged, targeting incoming threats with accuracy. Every crew member performed their duties with focus and calm, understanding that their lives depended on every decision. The first strike hit the colony ship, shaking its hull and triggering alarms. Debris and sparks flew through corridors, and the crew scrambled to repair damage. Medics tended to minor injuries, while engineers patched critical systems under extreme pressure. Despite the chaos, the crew's training and teamwork turned fear into controlled action. Each response demonstrated their growth from helpless survivors to a coordinated fighting force. Using the warship's technology, the crew developed strategies to outmaneuver the attackers. Sensors tracked enemy movements, predicting attacks before they happened. The navigators plotted precise maneuvers, weaving the colony ship through asteroid fields and debris while keeping weapons systems aligned. Every calculation had to be perfect, as a single error could allow the aliens to exploit a weakness. The crew applied lessons from cosmic hazards, using environmental knowledge to their advantage. Radiation bursts and asteroid belts became tools rather than threats. Shielding and automated targeting systems allowed the colony ship to strike while remaining protected. The aliens, expecting an easy target, were surprised by the tactical skill and creativity of the human crew. Their assumptions about humanity's weakness were shattered. The battle pushed the crew to their limits, testing endurance, courage, and decision-making. Every member had to remain alert, communicating quickly and clearly. Each small success in disabling or dodging alien attacks boosted morale and reinforced confidence. They relied on both instinct and calculation, blending human ingenuity with the power of the ancient machines. A sense of unity and purpose strengthened their resolve. Engineers experimented mid-battle, adjusting systems to optimize energy distribution. Shields and weapons were calibrated to maximize efficiency. The crew discovered new ways to combine technology with strategy, turning their defensive stance into a proactive offensive. Each move and adjustment shifted the tide of battle, demonstrating that adaptability and intelligence could overcome raw power. The alien force began to falter under the unexpected resistance. Their attacks became disorganized, allowing the crew to strike decisively. Coordinated maneuvers and precise targeting disabled several alien ships. The crew's courage and skill, combined with advanced technology, transformed what seemed like certain defeat into a turning point. Every successful maneuver reinforced the idea that humanity could not be underestimated. Psychological strength played a key role. Fear and panic were replaced by focus and determination. Leaders encouraged communication, reinforced confidence, and reminded everyone of the training and victories that had brought them this far. The crew's belief in themselves and each other became as important as shields or weapons. Their collective willpower fueled every action, giving them an edge over the alien attackers. By the end of the battle, the colony ship emerged victorious but scarred. Systems were damaged, and repairs would take time. Yet the crew had proven that they could face overwhelming odds and survive. The alien force retreated, leaving humanity stronger and wiser. Every crew member understood that their journey was no longer just about survival, but about asserting their place in the universe. The encounter became a defining moment, showing that even when humanity seemed weak and abandoned, courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome far superior forces. The crew's mastery of strategy, combined with the ancient warship's power, ensured that they were no longer passive victims of the void. They had become a force capable of defending themselves, rewriting expectations, and claiming their destiny among the stars. The colony ship finally emerged from the endless void, battered but triumphant. Its hull bore scars from cosmic hazards and alien attacks. Yet every crew member felt a sense of victory, knowing they had survived against impossible odds. The lessons learned, the technology mastered, and the unity forged had transformed them from abandoned survivors into a force capable of shaping their own destiny. The ancient warships, once dormant and mysterious, now served as guardians and allies. Their systems integrated with the colony ship, providing shields, navigation, and defense far beyond what the crew had imagined. Engineers and navigators had mastered their controls, turning potential threats into tools for survival and exploration. The crew realized that humanity's legacy had been waiting for them all along, hidden in the void to guide them. Life aboard the ship had changed profoundly, No longer was every day consumed by fear and uncertainty. Repairs and maintenance became more manageable with advanced systems. Food and water management stabilized, and the crew had time to plan, dream, and strategize. Their environment transformed from a prison into a platform for growth and achievement. The crew's confidence and morale soared, reflecting the transformation from helplessness to empowerment. As they navigated the void, the crew reflected on their journey, remembering the early days of isolation, fear, and despair. The memory of being abandoned by the central government and left to survive alone reminded them of how far they had come. Each obstacle overcome, broken systems, limited supplies, cosmic hazards, and alien threats, was a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. They had rewritten their fate through determination, skill, and teamwork. The psychological transformation of the crew was as significant as the technological one. Hope and courage had replaced despair. Fear had been transformed into vigilance and preparedness. The crew learned to rely on each other completely, building bonds that could withstand any challenge. They celebrated small victories, shared knowledge freely, and supported one another in ways that made survival not only possible, but meaningful. The colony ship, once abandoned and vulnerable, now represented humanity's enduring strength. A symbol that even in the darkest and most hostile corners of space, people could survive and thrive. The combination of human determination and ancient technology created a force that could face unknown dangers with confidence. They were no longer passive victims of circumstance. They were masters of their journey, capable of shaping the path ahead. The crew began to look forward, imagining possibilities beyond mere survival. Exploration, discovery, and expansion became real goals. The void, once a terrifying emptiness, now offered opportunity. The lessons learned from adversity, from improvisation to strategic thinking, would guide humanity's next steps. Every member of the crew understood that their experiences had prepared them for challenges far greater than they had ever faced. Humanity's place in the universe was reaffirmed through this journey. The crew realized that even when abandoned, resourcefulness, courage, and collaboration could create power and resilience. The ancient warships were not just machines, but reminders of humanity's potential. Proof that legacy and ingenuity could endure even when forgotten. The crew's survival had become a story of triumph, a demonstration of what humans could achieve when united and determined. As the ship continued its journey, the crew's eyes turned to the stars, each star representing hope, opportunity, and the unknown. They knew that dangers still lay ahead, but fear no longer dominated their hearts. Instead, they carried confidence, skill, and an unbreakable spirit. The void that had once threatened to consume them now stretched as a canvas for humanity's future, a place where they could define their destiny. The story of the colony ship became one of survival, courage, and the power of unity. Humanity had been abandoned, left to drift in the void, but they had risen stronger than ever. They had mastered technology, navigated dangers, and learned to work as one, proving that even when all seemed lost, determination, ingenuity, and resilience could rewrite fate. The crew looked ahead, ready to explore, defend, and thrive, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire generations to come.